Yeehaw! This will be a short video. I'm going to start it with a parable from the Bible. Not because it has anything to do with the Bible, or because it has anything to do with religion or Christianity, but because this totally reminded me of it. So bear with me for about 40 seconds. Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. So Naaman came and stood at the door of the house of Elisha, and Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in the river Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and said, Are not the rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel? May I not wash in them, and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near, and spake unto him, and said, Hey, dumbass, if the prophet... Okay, that was a slight mistranslation. If the prophets had bid thee do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather then, when he said to thee, Wash and be clean? Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh came again, and he was clean. So why on earth did I read that? It had nothing to do with religion and nothing to do with the parable. It had to do with the fact that I kind of see that in the anarchist movement, because I see a lot of people who expect the end of statism to be some big revolution, and it's like you have to like fend for yourself and be off the grid and hiding in a cabin in the woods, or you have to be armed to the teeth and ready to have a shootout with the feds, and so they're getting ready for these drastic, scary things instead of doing something that's actually really simple and is actually going to be the end of statism, which is learn how to talk to other people. Literally, if you'll take up arms and get ready to have a shootout, how about you start by learning how to talk to other people to get them to give up their statism? And that's what the Candles in the Dark is all about. And I still see people who, like, instead of learning a calm, happy, friendly, gentle way to talk to other people to get them to give up statism, they assume, it's like they watch too many movies and think, well, there's this big, huge, powerful enemy, so of course, the way big, huge, powerful enemies fall is a giant, epic battle with severed heads flying everywhere, and it's going to be bloodshed and mayhem. No, it isn't. It's going to be people talking to each other until we all look at the ruling class and go, meh. It's going to end in a meh, literally. And if you're one of those who's willing to take up arms against the state, how about start by taking up your mouth against statism and go talk to some other people.
So tie this in directly for the people who are a little slow to the actual specifics in the story.
See how much
just
we can
in case
talk
everyone's going, how did that connect?
Right.
So because
the guy
you're
was
Mr.
like,
Analogy, but not everyone
right.
thinks in analogies
I know.
all the time.
So Elisha basically told the guy, oh, you're a leper, which is like incurable disease. Go wash in that river 7 times. He's like, no, you were going to tell me to do some giant, grandiose thing or have lightning and thunder and fix it that way. I'm not going to do that. And then his servant says, why would you not do the really easy thing if you would do some great, huge thing if they asked? He was like, oh, yeah, I guess you should try the really easy thing. So, yeah, try the really easy thing before you get ready for a shootout with the feds and stuff. And it does take a little bit of effort, like going down to a river 7 times to take a bath. But if you have leprosy, it's kind of worth it. If that's going to cure you. It does take some effort to, like, in the Candles in the Dark method. And it doesn't have to be Candles in the Dark. It's the best method I've ever seen, which is why we did it. But if you're good at communicating, do your own thing if you want to. I happen to think this is a really good way to do it. But literally learning how to communicate to people to free them from the lie in their head is the thing that matters. You can't end statism by shooting somebody. Just like in V for Vendetta when they said ideas are bulletproof. That's true. And crappy ideas are also bulletproof. You can't shoot statism.
Nope.
But you can talk it out of people who were indoctrinated into it. And
the thing is, too, people forget that, like, this whole, like you said, you hate the word movement, but the global community that's interested in liberty, it's not like, we're all something that's, like, separate from the government. It's all people, almost all people who, in some way, were directly interacting with or participating in government at some form. Half of the Liberty Global community were military, were cops, were, bureaucrats in whatever layer, whether it's the court system or, they were in, the FBI or the CIA or, they did some other thing, and they were a lawyer. And so many people, the reason this movement is so huge is because it's actually, we were all sadists, so all of us have been waking up, and there are people who have gotten this their whole lives, or they've been raised this way, but most of us raised in the first world are not that. Sorry, I'm not somebody who can say I was raised to actually think I own myself and free will. There is a mindset coming from the subconscious of everyone around me of, these people, as soon as they put on this uniform and have this title and badge, you just obey and you submit to them, and that's the right thing to do. And, if you're raised that way, it takes a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers of programming to come out, and that is talking to people. And so we can't go, shooting the people that are literally part of our own families and part of our own networks, because those people are the people we have to reach, and they're connected to people we love. We create another victim, and that, that military guy and that cop was a victim of a lie, and we shoot them, and we create the victims by their kids going, well, somebody just killed my dad, and that kid's going to want vengeance. And so the ruling class knows this.
Doesn't fix it.
And people realize that that's not going to be the answer, but then so often people get upset and enraged in this movement by seeing the injustice, and they think, well, we just got to go start chopping heads, and that's how we got to do it. And that's actually...
powerful enemy. It has to have a big, drastic, climactic ending.
That's what they want, though. That's what they want.
Yeah.
That's all they know. Their language is violence.
That's what they're good at, is war machines.
They can
and
squash
death and
violence.
destruction. And the thing is, the end of statism would make the worst action movie ever. Because it's not going to be... It's literally, here come the big armies for the epic battle scene. And one army goes, hey, guys, can we just pause for a second and have a little chat? And the two armies have a chat, and the other army puts down their weapons and goes, yeah, this is dumb. The guy we work for is kind of a butthead. Never mind, let's go have a beer.
That's what happened in actual war a couple times.
I know.
It actually happened where both sides were like, do you want to be blown up? Because I really don't want to be blown up. And I really am not trying to blow you up. If you'll just stop blowing me up right now, I can just go home to my wife and kids. You can go home to your wife and kids. And then they're having beers. And, both ruling classes, both factions that are trying to pit the pawns against each other are like, crap.
Yeah, that's what ruling classes are actually scared of. And we've seen that in protests. It happened in Greece, maybe Spain. It happened a few different places where the police went out, shut down those protesters, and they went over and was like, yeah, you guys sort of have a point, so we're just going to put down our weapons and hang out with you. That's what scares the crap out of the ruling class, is people just, them losing their own enforcers because people just talk to them and they realize, yeah, we don't really like them either. Never mind. So, sorry it doesn't make a good movie ending with a big, giant battle scene, but that's
really... It's not
really...
300, sorry guys. It's not Leonidas being like, this is Sparta!
It's like, this is Sparta. Let me ask you a few questions about what you believe concerning authority and the right of... That's how it actually ends. So if you want to be a part of the actual solution, for all the people say, well, what's your solution? It isn't a revolution. It isn't a shootout. It isn't sabotage. It isn't hiding in the woods. It's learn to communicate the ideas of self-ownership and non-aggression. And we made candles in the dark to make people way better at that, because I did it the wrong way for 23 years and learned how to do it a better way. So... do that, because
that's one of the reasons we just made the video we just released on YouTube called The End of Politics, but we're going to put it everywhere. And The End of Politics is just another way in which we're just communicating these ideas, because you have to learn how to talk to people and say things in a way that it's going to actually reach them and get the wheels turning, and they're not going to change their mind and suddenly, think like you do overnight or anything. It's not like we need to preach at them. It's just that we need to ask questions that start unraveling the sweater so that they can't unhear the question and they can't stop thinking about the answer. Their brain sort of wants to answer it and it rattles them. And that's how the world changes. And a lot of people are going to watch the End of Politics video and they're going to go, I've never quite thought of it this way before, and they're not going to be able to stop thinking about it. So this is why just talking is what matters.
Yes. Yeah, so this is, not only is this a solution, this is the only solution. The only, not candles in the dark, but the only solution is getting people to escape the mindset of authoritarianism. The external stuff doesn't matter. You can't shoot it, you can't do away with it. And so that is what people have to focus on. If you want some epic battle, sorry, that's not going to do it. If you actually want to end statism, learn how to communicate. It just sounds anticlimactic, but if you actually care about the results, do the thing that matters.
And we did create a way for people to access a super effective, super easy way to just start pulling all of the sweaters pulling on all of the statism sweaters and unraveling them using that one single little thread. And it's just understanding how to ask the right questions, but getting a hold of your own psychology and having the right approach to people, and not feeling that combativeness that comes up when they still believe in something that's violent, they still want a ruling class, not having that come out of you when they, say completely incoherent and stupid things. When you know where they're coming from and you actually can see why you're getting the responses you get, and you know how your own psychology is going to affect them, you can properly and effortlessly start to get on a roll of just knowing how to go, I can casually ask this question, I can casually ask this question, and you're literally pulling on the threads, unraveling sweaters everywhere. And we've watched the evidence of this happen because we've done the Candles in the Dark seminar, the actual in-person one, so many times now, and then we got to see the ripple effects of that, where all the people we armed went out and did Candles in the Dark on other people, and it's working, and they're having different conversations. So that's why we did www.attendcandles.com and put this online in an accessible, inexpensive way so that anybody out in the globe can get this and use this tool and then go, okay, now I'm armed with exactly how to approach people, and I can just effortlessly start the process of the deprogramming by just yanking on that thread.
Yeah. So that's about it. Basically, if you'd be willing to take up arms for freedom, would you be willing to have some friendly chats with people? Because that's actually what matters. So, the taking up arms might matter here and there as they go full fascist, but ultimately the solution is people talking to other people one at a time. So go learn how to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.